So today we're talking more about the Batman miniature game, specifically version 3, and even more specifically, conversions or working with the Arkham Knight Campaign book. Today we're looking at something very specific to the campaign book, especially the Arkham Knight setting, but something that you can employ within all of your campaigns if you wish, but they specifically suit the Arkham Knight and Batman. So what we're looking at in the third ed conversion today, so WayneTech Upgrades. So here we are looking at the specific upgrade kits that you can get during the game. In game, there are a number of additional upgrades, not just through experience points which go to the team or specific models, and resource points for buying more equipment and so on. These are specific upgrades that belong to the Batman as the Batman team progresses. So what they allow are just some additional optional extra elements, some pieces of equipment, and as you progress you may gain an upgrade, or you may start with an upgrade, in which case then you can select from one of these. So remembering that this was all written back in the days of first edition, and it did work equally well in second edition. What we're looking at today is the third edition and trying to work out how some of these work. So I've resorted to my printed sheets where I've tried to make some adjustments. Now none of this is of course approved by the powers that be. This is just me attempting to try and bring these things back in line with third edition. So what we're looking at is pieces of equipment, and some of them are straight out rules and some of them are a little bit different. So we're just going to start from the top, I suppose. So starting at the top, the Batarang multi-takedown. So what I've looked at is I've used the compendium as a guide, and I've also looked at what a piece of equipment required from back in the day, and centimeters been converted to inches, and things like the action counters that spent and lost had to be changed a little bit in order to be made more third version friendly. So here's an example here. Batarang multi-takedown. I've declared this one, and again this is just for me and people who are going to play in this campaign and using my rules, but you'll have your own, I'm sure. Have it this way. This is a special action and attack action. So if we remember, if you have a character with Audacity, they're able to use a move action, manipulate action, attack action, which are in the same section, as well as a special action. It's unlike the other versions where you had multiple special counters and you could spend 2 or 3 of them and so on. This is a game where we just have the single special action. So the attack action and the special action are used for this, and center the explosion template over the Batman. Any KO models beneath the template are immediately removed as casualties. So if they're already all KO'd, the Batman just has to go pop and bang, 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 and they can be removed as casualties, which is awesome. Batclaw disarm, you have to have the Batclaw, which most Bat do. You can adapt these to other characters as well. A Green Arrow using some of these as part of the Queen technologies. Utilities will be working as well. It's entirely up to how you want to do it. Anyway, so this is a special action, and you must have the Batclaw equipped. One enemy within 4 inches in line of sight, roll d6, beats the defense. The target chooses one weapon. The weapon cannot be used for the remainder of the round. Could be useful. Batclaw Slam, one of my favourites. Special action and an attack action. So you must have back claw, the attack, which is a close combat only, gains the push, and knockdown effects. So that's pretty good with their crit being 2 stun, or 2, yeah. And this is an instance where pretty much nothing has changed. So you just get Batwing support once per game rule. You can light someone up. Cape stun. This is a good one. It's a special action, but you make a single close combat attack. If it hits, it takes no damage, but ultimately suffers the stunned effect. And the Batman can attack normally after that with the normal actions. So then, of course, if they're stunned, there are the rules for that. Detective mode, you gain true vision, yeah, and ignores the smoke effect, which I don't know off the top of my head whether or not the total vision does. Quick fire explosive gel, you get the explosive gel trait. In addition, you can do a special shoot, and they're pinned down. Now in 3rd edition there's no official pin down rule, so that's pretty much the pin down rule. You cannot move and the attack value is reduced by 1. So until an errata comes through or something opens the pin down rule, that's pretty much how it's going to run, just like the older versions. Improved back cape, so you gain a +8, so it's a special action, +8 to your basic movement, but you have to start at least 4 inches off the ground and placed at a lower level. And you can travel over any terrain that's not taller than the original height. So it's a little bit more of an improved back claw, but you're obviously jumping off a higher start. Fear takedown, this is a good one. Special action, so when you're performing a sneak attack, so the sneak attack no longer requires an action, so a special action, it's just a normal attack. So when performing a sneak attack, if the model makes the target KO or removes the casualty, you can make a single sneak attack against every other enemy model within 2 inches of that model. So that gives you a bit of a, yeah, that's nice. That's very nice for Predator mode, when you group them together and you just go smack and lay them all down. And you're trying to go for those hits. Line launcher, where are we? Here we go. Grapnel boost. This is an interesting one as well. This is where you can go up 5 inches. So when the model uses the back claw trait, the model may move an additional 5 inches vertically up. So you can target the middle of the building, and then plus, knowing you've got a +5 inches, which takes you up. So you can target an endpoint that's not normally accessible, but as it says, once the grapnel boost, then you become accessible. Line launcher, this is an interesting one as well. So this doesn't go over terrain, this is pretty much between terrain. So you can go over models, so as it says, as per the back claw, except that it's a +12 to the basic move distance instead, and it's in a straight line. The height difference between the start and finish cannot be more than 2 inches, and models, friend or foe, are ignored, just the models. You can't go, you know, over too much terrain. If there's an enemy model underneath the path, instead of completing the path, you can be placed at base to base with the enemy model, and if you're attacking that, because this is a special action, so you can still attack, you get +1 to your damage rolls, which is pretty groovy. The remote electrical charge. If you're familiar to the game, it's pretty good. Ammo 3. Shockwave attack. So that's an attacking action. After you've used the improved back cape, or you've jumped and fall to the ground and you've used the normal back cape trait, you center the explosion template over any models partially or fully covered, potentially can be stunned. And smoke pellets. So this is a special action, and once per round the model centers the smoke effect on this model. So you can chuck a smoke pellet on the ground and boom, place the large template over, and it then creates a smoke effect, which makes it a lot harder to target. The Batman can still move. This is a special action, so the movement actions and attacking actions still go into play. And especially if you've got that detective mode trait as well earlier, then you're able to ignore all smoke. You ignore the smoke model, the smoke effect. So this is pretty much my take on the WayneTech upgrades from the campaign book. And during the campaign, you gain additional bonuses for you gain an additional tech, or you might start with tech sometimes. If the Batman wins a particular scenario, they might gain a tech. And that's sort of how the conditioning works throughout every episode. Something happens, whether it leads to another event or encounter, or it provides an advantage for the rest of the game. These can be adapted in some instances. Obviously Batcape, that's pretty much Batcape, but something like the Green Arrow could definitely be doing a disarm similar to a shot, or maybe even a Batclaw slam, because he has the hook arrow Batclaw rule, and so on, depending on how you want to do it. Nightwing will have some of these as well. You might give Batwing support for Nightwing. Obviously Nightwing doesn't have a cape, but so on. So you can adjust these however you want, depending on your heroes and how your campaign is laid out. What we'll go through a little bit is the campaign as such, see what has changed in the episodes of the campaign, and then we'll talk about, in future videos, about making a personalized campaign and how to best go about doing that, and making it all really groovy. Alright, well, thank you very much for listening. This is a quick one, but I just wanted to get this one out of the way, because this WayneTech is it's pretty tricky. And I print these up. This is just ones I've just done for 3rd ed now, but I've got these for the 2nd edition, and so that way you remember to use them. Otherwise it's like just another rule, another trait, and it's just really hard to remember everything all the time. So we try and remember. But yes, until formalized rules come through, this is about as good as I've got. I want to thank Knight Models for obviously putting all this together and everything that goes with it. And hopefully everyone else appreciates that. Keep up to date with some of the news that's going on. Stay safe. And we'll catch up with you. Remember to like, subscribe, etc. And check out the Patreon page for any updates that might be coming. Alright, thank you.